کے جلا کے کیا مدینے میں کوئی ہے تیری زہرا پہ مصیبت کی گھڑی ہے ہائے بابا تیری زہرا پہ مصیبت کی گھڑی ہے محمد وآل محمد صلوات محمد وآل محمد. میں اسی کے چند بند پیش کر رہا ہوں سورہ فاتحہ. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم مالک یوم الدین ایاک نعبد و ایاک نستعین صراط المستقیم صراط الذین انعمت علیہم غیر المغضوب علیہم محمد وآل محمد صلوات. اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد. بیمار جب کہ احمد مختار ہو گئے بیمار جب کہ احمد مختار ہو گئے دشمن زیادہ در پائے آزار ہو گئے زہر ستم سے موت کے آثار ہو گئے صدمے اٹھا کے جینے سے بیزار ہو گئے صدمے اٹھا کے جینے سے بیزار ہو گئے غل تھا جہاں سے نائب داور کا کوچ غیر افسوس سوء خلد پیمبر کا کچھ ہے افسوس سوء خلد پیمبر کا کچھ ہے شفقت سے فاطمہ کو بلایا رسول نے سمجھا کے اپنے پاس بٹھایا رسول جب دامن بطول کو پایا رسول نے بستر کے بدلے اس کو بچھایا رسول نے بستر کے بدلے اس کو بچھایا رسول سر رکھ کے اپنا زانوئے دختر پہ سو گئے راوی کا ہے یہ قول کے بے ہوش ہو گئے راوی کا ہے یہ قول کے بے ہوش ہو گئے ہوش آیا تو بلایا حسن اور حسین کو لپٹایا اپنے سینے سے ہر نور عین کو، نانا کے غم میں کھویا نواسوں نے چین کو، رو رو کے یہ سنایا شاہ مشرقین کو، رو رو کے یہ سنایا شاہ مشرقین کو۔ افسوس آج داغے جدائی دکھاؤگے، سنتے ہیں غم یہ سب سے ہمیں چھوڑ جاؤ گے، سنتے ہیں غم یہ سب سے ہمیں چھوڑ گے، سر پیٹ پیٹ رونے لگی ہائے فاطمہ، بولی کہ کس طرح نا علم کھائے فاطمہ، جو غال دل ہے کس وہ دوہرا فاطمہ، افسوس اپنے باپ سے چھوٹ جائے فاطمہ، افسوس اپنے باپ سے چھوٹ جائے، اس غم سے آس ٹوٹے گئی دل ملول کے، آفت میں مبتلا ہوئی بیٹی رسول کی، آفت میں مبتلا ہوئی بیٹی رسول کی، بیمار جب کے مدے
محمد صلوات
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآلہ۔ محمد وآل محمد صلوات، اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ مومن مونات السلام علیکم۔ Just a couple of quick announcements and reminders. The first one, if you have Sunday school age children, and if you haven't yet signed them up for Jafia Sunday School, please do so. The Sunday school year will be beginning in the coming week. There are two big posters on the back wall in the men's and ladies that have a QR code. You can scan that and sign your kids up for Sunday school. Additionally, the Jafia Sunday School will be holding its annual Sunday School Arba'in walk on Saturday, this coming Saturday, August 15th. That event is open to the entire community. All Mu'mineen and their families are requested to come and support the Sunday School students. In regards to the series of programs, inshallah, our series of programs with guest speaker Maulana Rizwan Rizvi Sahab will conclude tomorrow night. Tomorrow will be the last lecture of the series. There will be no programs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The next program will take place next Monday for the wafat of Bibi Masuma Khum Salamun Alayha. It will be recited by Maulana Ehtisham Abbas Zaidi. And then following that, our last two programs for the series of Ayam Azah will take place on Thursday, August 20th and Friday, August 21st. Thursday, August 20th will be the Al-Bidai Majlis Azah. We'll be joined by guest Noha Khan, Janab Raza Abbas Zaidi from Pakistan, who will be reciting at that program. And then on Friday, August 21st, will be the Jashan for Eid Zahra, which will also be recited by guest Man Khalid Khan, Janab Raza Abbas Zaidi from Pakistan. Please make note of these upcoming programs and do join with your families. Lastly, if I can request all of you to recite Surah Fatiha and Surah Ikhlas for all the marhumeen of everyone in attendance tonight, for all the marhumeen on the Jafar Memorial Board, and specifically for the marhumeen of tonight's sponsors, including marhum Sayyid Muhammad Amil Zaidi Mohsin, Marhum Sayyid Salman Haider Zaidi, Marhum Sayyid Hashim Raza Naqvi, Marhuma Jahangir Fatima, and Marhum Shahid Hussain. Before I request Maulana Rizwan Rizvi Sahib, if I can please just ask my brothers, if you don't mind, just take a few steps and come forward and in the middle. By Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Please join me in inviting Maulana Rizwan Rizvi up to the minbar with the loudest of your salawats upon Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
رحم الله من قرأ سورة الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي قصرت عن رؤيته أبصار الناظرين وعجزت عن نعته أوهام الباصفين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين ذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نون والقلم وما يسطرون. ما أنت بنعمة ربك بمجنون. وإن لك لأجرا غير ممنون. وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. سبابك. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As you know, this is the second majlis in the series of 3 majalis. Tonight, commemorating the wafat of Rasul Akram Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. The ayat that I recited for you tonight are the initial verses from chapter number 68 from the Noble Quran, known as Surah Wal Qalam. In this chapter, like many other similar smaller chapters of Quran that begin with huruf muqatta'at, the abbreviated alphabets, this one also begins with a single alphabet, Noon. There are some surahs in the Quran that begin with single alphabets, like Qaf and Swad. There are some that begin with 2, like Hamim, Yasin. There are some that begin with 3, like Alif Lam Mim, Alif Lam Ra. There are some that begin with 4, and there are some that begin with 5. These are, of course, abbreviated alphabets for which we do not know what their meaning is. Yes, there are speculations with some rawayat that are presented, but even Ma'asumin refrain from explaining what these abbreviated alphabets really mean. Therefore, it is understandable that this is the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the asrar and the rumuz and the code words, if you want to call it, between Allah and His Habib. And only Rasulullah and whoever He gave that knowledge to has the knowledge of what it means. So therefore, we won't spend time explaining what the word noon is. Although there are many who have given some explanations to the word letter noon. Some say letter noon refers to Hazrat Yunus alayhi salatu wasalam. As when you recite in Namaz-e-Ghufayla, that ayat, وَذَنُّونِ إِذْ ذَهَبَ مُغَاضِبًا فَظَنَّ أَنْ لَنْ نَقْدِرَ عَلَيْهِ فَنَادَى لِلظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى آخِرِ. Dhannun meaning Sahibe Noon. That Noon refers to Hazrat Yunus alayhi salatu wasalam. But when they say that, then the rest of the ayat do not make sense. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Noon wal-qalami wa ma yasturun. Noon, the letter Noon, by the pen and that which you write with this pen. Wal-qalam and wa ma yasturun. Right after that, he says, Ma anta bi ni'mati rabbika bi majnoon. O Rasulullah, with the grace of Allah, you're not insane. You're not majnoon, as opposed to the claims of these mushrikeen and the kuffar. Then it says, وَإِنَّ لَكَ لَأَجْرًا غَيْرَ مَمْنُونَ. O Prophet, Allah has written an ajr, a reward for you which is غَيْرِ مَقْتُوء, غَيْرِ مَمْنُون, which will never end, everlasting. And then the last ayat, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. O Rasul, we have stationed you at the highest standard of morality. That is the reason Prophet would say, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. The reason that I have been sent, Rasulullah did not say one of the reasons why I was sent. All of us should be aware of the word إِنَّمَا. إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهِ. إِنَّمَا الْعَمَالِ. The word إِنَّمَا is used for hasr, limitation. Meaning what? All of you are present in this hall. None of you is outside of this hall. So that is what? Encompassing you. When the word innama is used, meaning what? Nothing is outside of this scope. Rasulullah did not say one of the reasons I was sent into this world was to perfect the human character. No, he said, innama bu'ithu li'utammima makarim al-akhlaq. The only reason for which I was sent was to go ahead and perfect the human morality and the characteristics and the ethics. And so therefore, one of the biggest turra imtiyaz, the vain glory of our Prophet is his akhlaq that he presented. Quran speaks about his akhlaq on numerous occasions. It says, لَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَنْفَضُّ مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. Oh Habib, if you were stern-hearted, if you had a qasawat qalbi, if you were stern-hearted or hard-hearted, they would have definitely stranded you a long time ago. But you are what? Rahmatan lil alameen. You are sent as a mercy to all of mankind. And therefore, Rasulullah presented himself in such a manner. While we are on this subject, there's a beautiful riwayat from the kalam of our Prophet, in which he gave us the best of the akhlaq of this world and the hereafter. He said what? He said to his companions, Ala ukhbirukum bi khayri khalaiq ad-dunya wal akhirah. Do you want me to inform you of the best of the akhlaq in this world and in the hereafter? And of course, the companions right away responded by saying what? Why not? If someone comes here and tells you, I want to teach you the best in this and the hereafter, people will say, yes, labbaik, and that is coming from none other than the noble Prophet. Rasulullah then gave them these 4 sentences. He said the best of the akhlaq of this dunya and the hereafter. Now tonight, rest of the majlis, you may not learn something from it. Rest of the majlis, you may not gain anything out of it. Maybe some of the stuff that I will mention is repeated. Some of the fadail that I will talk about later on is something which is a repeated discussion for you. You've heard this. You've grown into this maktab. You've been listening to the majalis longer than I have been alive, many of you. And therefore you are aware of the fadail of the Prophet. You are aware of the masayib of the Prophet. But these pearls of wisdoms are something which is what? Which serves as a light for us every time we hear. So this should be a token that you take away from tonight's majlis, which I'm giving you in the very beginning. Inshallah, in order to remember, I'll mention it again toward the end. He said the best of the akhlaq in this world and the hereafter is what? Al-afwu amman zalamaka. Al-afwu amman zalamaka. Forgive the one who has done zulm against you. Easier said than done. When we look at our lives, forget about our staunch enemies. Looking at within your own household, within your own family, within your own siblings, there are sometimes issues that arise between the spouses, between the in-laws, and then there's this struggle that is happening. And we're unable to let go of any of those egos that we have developed. I'm never going to forgive them for what they have done to me. I'm never going to let go of, what they did to me 15 years ago. When I first got married, I came into this house, the troubles that I went through, I still remember it vividly. I'm never going to let go of that. That grudge is still in my heart. And that's not going to go away. Rasulullah is saying the best of the akhlaq of this world and the hereafter is what? Al-afwu amman zalamaka. Forgive the one who has what? Done injustice to you. Here Rasulullah may be talking about those enemies that are standing in battleground against you. Did you not see the akhlaq of our fourth Imam, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salatu wasalam? That is providing refuge to Marwan. And Imam went on to say that if it wasn't Marwan, if it was someone other than Marwan who drew a sword against my father, and he brought that sword to me as an amanat, I will not do khiyanat in that. Of course, sometimes when we give examples of our imams and ma'sumin, we say, well, Maulana, they were imams. They were at another level. How can we possibly go ahead and, duplicate what they were able to achieve? Okay. I won't give you the example of imams. Although they are what? They are the best role models for us. Quran says, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. That indeed in the life of Rasulullah is the best uswa and the role model for you. You don't need to look for anyone else. The fact that Allah sent them as bashar, their khilqat is nuri, and then Allah sent them as bashar like you and I. They lived, they ate, they went through the life struggles, they got married, they had children, they had some children who were good, they had some children who were bad. They went through the same ups and downs and ebbs and flows of life that you and I go through in our lives, and sometimes even worse than that. Why is that? So that they could be the best role models for you. If you said that no, they are anbiya, they are masumin, they are imams, we cannot follow them because they were at another level, then we have lost the proper understanding of why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them as human beings onto this face of the earth, so that we can follow them. But keeping that in mind, because someone might raise that argument, I'll give you an example of non-ma'asum. I'll give you an example of some of the scholars, ulama. They are just like you and I, commit sins, prone to committing sins. There's a story that is mentioned, I have not forgotten the hadith, I'll continue the hadith. There's a story that is mentioned regarding The two, father and son, Mullah Mehdi Naraqi and Mullah Ahmad Naraqi. Father wrote the book called Jami'us Sa'adat, a collector of felicities. It's the best book that you'll find on the topic of akhlaqiyat. It's a book that is taught in Islamic seminaries. We studied that some 20 years ago when we first began our studies 25 years ago, when we began our studies of Hawza Ilmiya. The book has been translated into English called A Collector of Felicities, Jami'us Sa'adat, Mullah Mehdi Naraqi. His son, Ahmad Naraqi, who came afterward, he wrote a book called Mi'raj Sa'adah, the Mi'raj and the peak and the ascension, that level, that Mi'raj of Sa'adat. Meaning the father wrote Collector of Felicities, son wrote Mi'raj, the end of Sa'adat and prosperity. When father had written that book, this book arrived in Najaf. Marja of that time was Ayatollah Sayyid Baharul Ulum. He received this book, he read it cover to cover, and he kissed and he said that I wish I get to meet the author of this book one day, so I can kiss his hand and congratulate him for a phenomenal work that he has produced, that has never been produced at this level. Now this is not coming from an ordinary talib ilm or student. This is coming from the one who is the marja of the time. And that too, the alam, no one else is compared to him at that time. So back then, the travel between Iraq and Iran was not that easy. But Mullah Mehdi Naraqi, he made this trip to Atabat Aliyah to go for the ziyarat of Karbala and Najaf. When he arrived in Najaf, this is the unofficial, attitude, if you want to call it, akhlaq in Hawza Ilmiya, that when a scholar of that caliber comes, everyone goes to see him. So just so that you and I can relate to, the children can relate to, if I give the examples of present maraja, now without any preference, without any, superiority, seniority, none of that. Because you follow your marja, inshallah, that is all for you. So today, for example, in Iraq, we have a marja, Ayatollah Sistani. And within this Iraq, we have another marja, Ayatollah Bashir Najafi. Right? You have heard of both of their names. Now, because they're both in Iraq, I'll give an example of one marja from Iran. Ayatollah Nasir Makarim Shirazi. Imagine if Ayatollah Nasir Makarim Shirazi traveled from home to Najaf. The akhlaq says, unofficial akhlaq of the Hawza is what? That everybody should go and see this marja who's traveling from another country. Same thing happened. Everybody went to see Mullah Mehdi Naraqi. Except who? Sayyid Baharul Ulum. He didn't go see him. Now this was noticed. This did not go unnoticed. So Mullah Mehdi Naraqi said, Sayyid is busy, he's teaching the students, he's, marja taqleed, I'll go visit him. So he comes to the Hawza of Sayyid Baharul Ulum. Like I'm giving a lecture over here, if an alim deen walks in, what do I usually do? What do people usually do? They'll pause, they'll ask to send salawat, and they'll ask to go and ask the Maulana to come, sit near the mimbar. Until the Maulana makes his way next to the mimbar, we're going to keep on sending salawat, so that in honor of this alim deen, regardless of the age and whatever. Ihtaram is of this libas. But Mullah Mehdi Naraqi walked in, yet no reaction from Sayyid Baharul Ulum, as if he disregarded him. No one, everybody noticed it. That look what happened. This great marja, this great alim deen has come, and the other alim is what? Showing such bad akhlaq. That's what people were saying. After his lecture was over, he didn't really greet him warmly, and then he went on his business. Again, people noticed. Then Mullah Mehdi Naraqi, he went to Karbala, Samarra. After the ziyarat, he came back a few weeks later, and again he was in Najaf. He said, let me go visit Sayyid Baharul Ulum once again. People advised him, why do you want to go ahead and be humiliated? Twice he has shown disrespect. He didn't come and see you. Number two, when you went to see him, he didn't get up for you. He didn't do anything. Cold shoulder. Maybe there's some beef between you two or something. He didn't respect at all. Why do you want to go? He said the same thing. Sayyid, he's Buzurg, he's Alim-e-Din, he's Marja Taqleed, he's busy. I want to go ahead and see him before I depart back for Iran. Now when he announced that he wants to go see him, they say the Sayyid Baharul Ulum, when he heard of the coming of Mehdi Naraqi, he got up from his place, went to the door to welcome him. He brought him in, sat him down on his own masnad, sat down himself on the ground, and he said to him, please go ahead and give some wa'az to us. Now, people are witnessing what happened. All of a sudden, all this protocol, all this respect, the earlier 2 times, disrespect, now so much, 180 degrees, what happened in the middle? Then Sayyid Baharul Ulum explained. He said, a few months ago, I had received a book called Jamil Sa'adat. When I read the book, I made a dua that I wish I could to see the writer of this book, because such a beautiful book. I wanted to see that the author of this book, did he write this stuff in this book just for the public, or he himself practices what he wrote in this book himself. You see, he talked about sabr. He talked about akhlaq-e-ali. He talked about patience, hilm. He talked about taqwa in it. He talked about all of the good things. I wanted to check if he himself followed what he has written or it's just for the others. Kind of like my lecture here is for the others. I'm not going to follow it myself. He said, but I found the author of this book to be above and beyond what he has written in his book. And that is the reason I was just testing him for the past couple of times to see what his reaction would be to my showing a little bit of disrespect. If someone showed this sort of disrespect to us, people like me, we're like, I'm not going again. I don't want to be disrespected again. But this is the akhlaq of Anbiya, that they let go and they forgive. So Rasulullah said what? Al-afwu amman zalamaka. Forgive the one who has done injustice to you. This is someone who may be standing in front of, in the war, in the battle. But we have difficult time letting go of our neighbors, letting go of our siblings, letting go of our relatives, letting go of our friends, their mishap, their mistakes. What has happened? We come to these majalis, we listen to the lectures, we hear about the akhlaq of Anbiya, we hear about the akhlaq of Aimma Achar, yet these are only for this mehfil, this majlis, and nothing should leave out the door. When we walk out the door, everything that we had heard was only for this place, and nothing else should be carried over. Then how important and how good would this majlis azah be? What is the benefit of this majlis azah if we are unable to change our akhlaq so that we are considered to be Husayni as far as our akhlaq is concerned, and the akhlaq of Yazid are far away from us? We need to display akhlaq Husayni. So number one, Rasulullah said what? Al-afwu amman zalamaka. Forgive the one who has done injustice to you. Make this covenant. Muharram and Safar, the Ayyam-e Azhar, coming to an end. That before the ending of Ayyam-e Azhar, that one person that I have been at odds with, I'm going to clean my heart for that person. I'm going to remove the grudge that I have been carrying, and I hope that Allah does the same thing and places that love and removes that grudge from the heart of that individual. That's number one. Number two, after he said, Al-afwu amman zalamaka, forgive the one who has done injustice to you, he said, sil man qata'aka. Connect ties with those who have disconnected ties with you. Do silay rahmi with the one who has done what? Qati rahmi. Well, again, this is same when it comes to the akhlaq, when it comes between the family etiquettes. I'll leave the explanation to your understanding. Number three, al-ihsanu man asa'a ilayka. Be kind to the person who has been unkind to you. You say, where do you find such individuals? This is the akhlaq of Aimma. This is the teachings of Ahlul Bayt. This is the teaching of Islam. This is what the world needs to know about Islam. Not the akhlaq of Taliban, not the akhlaq of ISIS, not the akhlaq of Al-Qaeda, the akhlaq of Ahlul Bayt. Then what do they do? Al-ihsanu man asa'a ilayka. Be kind to the one who has been unkind to you. And lastly, wa'ti man, give to the person man haramaka, the one who has deprived you. If someone deprived you of something, you should not deprive them back. How many stories do you find, even in Karbala, that Hur deprived Imam ﷺ and his family from water, but Imam provided for him. Same thing in the Battle of Siffin. Before Imam captured the wells and where the water was, the companions of Amir al-Mu'minin said, we should deprive the army of enemy. Imam said, no. Let them drink water from him. Imam, if we deprive them, they'll die without even any battle. Imam said, that's their akhlaq, not our akhlaq. You know, don't give to the person who has deprived you. 4 things, brothers and sisters, that I mentioned in this hadith. I don't want to take this long in this hadith because there's some fadail of Rasulullah that I want to mention to you as well. Rasul is someone who came to elevate us, who came to bring us to a higher level. The purpose of his coming to this world was to go out and raise the bar for mankind. That's why the word Nabi comes from the root word Naba. Naba means what? Message, khabar. Rasul becomes what? Nabi becomes what? The one who brings the news. But some argue that why do you need a Nabi to bring the news? Allah can send the news to anyone else. In fact, Allah did. When Qabil had killed his brother Habil, he had no idea what to do with the dead body. Allah sent a bird to go ahead and teach him what to do with the dead body. Ayat of Quran talks about it. So Allah could have conveyed the meaning through any means. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ. Allah sent the wahi to the heart of Mother of Musa. So Allah can send the wahi directly, but He chose to send it through Nabi. When Allah chose, when He could have, He chose to send His message through Nabi. Why is it that you and I are trying to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without Nabi? Those who deny the concept of shafa'at, those who deny the concept of wasila, Allah could have sent the message directly to you, but He chose not one, not 224,000 anbiya. So now when you want to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why are you skipping past anbiya, awliya, without their wasila, without their tafassul? Salawat di Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So some argue that the word Nabi is not from Naba. Rather, the word Nabi comes from the word Nubuz, which means Nashunuma, growth, Rif'at, Bulandi, to raise someone, to raise the bar for someone. And then they give an example. He said Rasulullah was someone, if he wanted to announce his Khuda'i, it would have been easier for him. Why? He gave an example. He said Rasulullah came in a time when people were worshipping the sun. Rasulullah is someone for whom he was able to return the sun back. Raddu Shams is one of the miracles. You think people who are worshipping the sun would not worship someone who is able to bring the sun back? People were worshipping the moon. Rasulullah's miracle is what? Shaqqul Qamar. The one who can split the moon in half. You think they're not going to worship him? People were worshipping the trees. One of the miracles of Rasulullah is that he ordered the tree to move forward. It came forward. Then he ordered it to go back. It went back. All of this is mentioned in the books. You think they're not going to worship the one who's moving the tree? People were worshipping the idols made of stone. Rasulullah made the stone talk on his hand. So when people are bowing in front of the stones, you think they're not going to bow in front of the one who is making the stones talk? But Rasulullah said no. The power in the bandagi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is superior to the fake uluhiyat and the fake deity, then become Allah. So he said, no, I am Abdullah. I am servant of Allah. I am not Allah myself. But Rasulullah, these are considered to be his miracles. One of the miracles is what? That he made the pebbles talk. Some argue that no. Rasulullah did not make the pebbles talk. The pebbles were always talking. Quran says, "In min shay'in illa yusabbihu bihamdih." There is not an object in the world which is not doing the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In min shay'in illa yusabbihu bihamdih. Everything is doing the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These walls, this carpet, the grass, the stones, all the inanimate objects, and of course, the living beings are doing the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is this insan sometime who becomes arrogant from doing the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So everything is doing the tasbih of Allah. So those stones were always doing the tasbih. وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَصْبِيحَهُمْ. You and I are unable to comprehend their tasbih. That doesn't mean they're not doing the tasbih. You and I cannot hear this carpet, this floor, do the tasbih of Allah. You and I cannot hear this word, do the tasbih of Allah. Does that deny the fact that they're not doing the tasbih? So no. وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَصْبِيحَهُمْ. Let me give an example for the children here. You're sitting in this hall. How many waves are traveling in this room right now? One is the Wi-Fi, which everybody wants. Number two is the AM, FM, radio waves. And there are some other waves that you and I cannot comprehend. We need a special device to catch them. The fact that I cannot see them, does that mean they don't exist? But they always exist. I need a device to be able to catch those waves. I can't see it because it's beyond my frequency to be able to hear, to be able to see through these eyes. So therefore, same thing is with these pebbles. They were always doing the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you and I are unable to comprehend. So the mu'jiza of Rasul is not that he made the pebbles talk. The mu'jiza of Rasul is that he raised the level of the people to the extent that they were able to hear the mu'jiza. They were able to hear the pebbles talk in front of them. Salawat biji Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So Quran said, Noon wal qalami wa ma yasturun. By the pen and that which you write with this pen. Wa ma anta bi ni'mati rabbika bi majnun. By the grace of Allah, O Habib, you are not majnun. Now, this ayat or this surah is supposedly or ihtimal qawi was revealed in Makkah. Why? Because this is the second chapter to be revealed in the order of chronological order of revelation. So the surah that we have in Quran, any Quran that you pick up, number one surah is Surah Fatiha, then Surah Baqarah, then Surah Al Imran, then Surah Nisa, then Surah Ma'idah, and ila akhir. That's the order in which we have our Qurans. But is it the order in which the ayat were revealed? The surahs were revealed? No. That revealed order is different. You all know what was the first surah, which was the first surah, what were the first ayat that were revealed? Surah Alaq. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Allah orders our Prophet, O Nabi, Iqra, read. Rasulullah said, what should I read? Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read in the name of your Rabb who has created you. Rasulullah then recited Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, until Waladdallin. When Rasulullah was first asked to read, what did he read? He read Surah Fatiha. That is why it is mentioned, it's sometimes mentioned. Quran says that. It says what? It says, وَأَنزَلْنَا الْقُرْآنَ وَالسَّبْعًا مِنَ الْمَثَانِي. we reveal to you, O Prophet, the Quran and the 7 oft repeated verses. What are the 7 oft repeated verses? Surah Fatiha. Surah Fatiha was revealed twice, once in Makkah and once in Medina. Hence the reason why you recite Surah Fatiha twice in every namaz. In every namaz you recite Surah Fatiha, how many times? Twice. Why is that? Because once it was revealed in Makkah, second time it was revealed in Medina. So the second chapter that is revealed after the first chapter, which is Surah Alaq, the first 5 ayat, and then the second chapter that was revealed was Surah Wal Qalam, chapter number 68. Listen and pay attention to this. The very first revelation says, Iqra, read. The second revelation says, Wal Qalam. This religion is something, the emphasis on education, that the first wahi says read, the second wahi says write. And then you say, well, pro-education, this deen want to convey ilm to people. That's why the first revelation is to go ahead and read. Make sure that you start reading. Make sure that you get yourself to be able to read. Unfortunately, we live in a time where we don't have time to read anymore. We have time to listen, we have time to watch, but we seldom listen to anything. But Quran says no, read and then write. So the second chapter that is revealed in the chronological order is what? Surah Al-Qalam. Allah says, and therefore, so this is established what? Surah Al-Qalam was revealed where? In Makkah. I'm getting somewhere, so hopefully you'll follow around. The chapter is revealed in Makkah. Allah says, buy the pen and that which you write with this pen, oh Nabi, you're not Majnoon. Aap diwane nahi hai. What is the connection? What is the connection between Qalam and Divangi? Qalam and being Majnoon. Pen and being insane. That waqiyah that you're trying to remember happened in Medina when Rasulullah is on his deathbed. And Rasulullah asked, give me a pen and a piece of paper. Aktub lakum shay'an lan tadillu ba'di. I'll write something for you, after which you will not go astray. What was said to him? Innahu la yahjur. This man has gone mad. Indana Quran, we have Quran. Hasbuna kitabullah. The book of Allah is enough for us. We don't need to give a pen to him. We don't need to give a paper to him. Why? This man has gone mad. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us a prophecy by revealing this ayat in Makkah, that there will be an event that will take place in Medina where people will deny you pen and call you what? Majnoon. Hence Allah is saying what? Defending his Nabi from the very beginning. Buy the pen and that which you write with this pen. Oh Habib, by the grace of Allah, you are not Majnoon, you are not insane. Salawat biji Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa. So Rasulullah asked for pen and paper. You think he really wanted to write something? It's you and I who procrastinate. Leave things to the last. But that is not the method of Anbiya. That is not the method of Rasulullah. So why is it that Rasulullah was asking towards the end of his life for pen and paper? What did he want to write that he has not already conveyed? He's already conveyed all of the ahkam. He's already conveyed that mas'ala of vilayat as well. Mas'ala of vilayat was explained in Hajjatul Wada, Ghadir Qum. Mas'ala of vilayat was mentioned in the Battle of Tabuk, when Rasulullah was going for Tabuk. He left Amir al-Mu'minin in his place. Mas'ala of vilayat was convinced and conveyed when Rasulullah did the hijrat from Makkah to Medina. Masala vilayat was conveyed when Rasulullah was inviting Dawat Zul Ashira and Ali ibn Abi Talib stood up. All of these events have already explained the wasi and the wali. So what is it that Rasulullah wanted to write? And today there's a big debate. You know, while this issue is already there. It's there in all of the books of Shia and Ahl Sunnah. But Ahl Sunnah then argue that Rasulullah died 3 days later. Why didn't he ask for pen and paper again? He could have asked afterwards. After he said, when people start clamoring and making noise, Rasulullah said, Ubu and leave. I don't want you to be shouting and yelling in front of me. They all left. Rasulullah could have asked for pen and paper from Ali, and he could have written down what he wanted to write. He said, no. Rasulullah did not want to write anything. There wasn't anything to write. He had already conveyed everything. There wasn't a message that he was keeping till the last moment. Nothing important that was keeping till the last moment. It's you and I who make such wasaya at the last time of our lives, at the last moment of our life. Rasulullah, on the other hand, contrary to that, has already conveyed everything. As I mentioned, if you are thinking that it was the mas'ala of wilayat of Ahlul Bayt, no, he's already conveyed that. So then why ask for pen and paper? Right? Mas'ala is still there. Rasulullah was only following the sirat and the akhlaq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the akhlaq of Allah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us or gave the angels an unusual command. What was the command? Here has the Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, and he blew his soul into Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. He said what to the angels? فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. Go ahead and do sajda to Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. What did the angels respond by saying? He said, I'm making him to be the Khalifa on the face of the earth. And therefore go ahead and do sajda to him. Right away all of them responded by saying what? Nahnu nuqaddus. We are muqaddas. This person you're creating is going to go ahead and cause fitna and fasad. He's going to go ahead and shed blood. And we are muqaddas. Allah said, you don't have the knowledge of what I possess. He asked angels to go ahead and do sajda. It was an unusual order. Why? Angels were used to doing sajda to Allah. How can Allah ask them to do sajda to someone other than Him? So there must be something that is mentioned. The ayat itself explains. When he says, فَإِذَا خَلَقْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. Sajadu, all of them did sajda, illa Iblis. وَكَانَ مِنَ الْأَبَى وَاسْتَكْبَرَ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. Three sifat are mentioned of Iblis. Everybody fell in sajda. All of the angels did sajda, except Iblis. Iblis did not do sajda. Why? Three sifat are mentioned. Number one, Aba. He denied. Wastakbara. He did kibr. وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. And he was always a kafir. These are the ayat of Quran. I'm not reciting any hadith. You have read these ayat many times. Meaning what? Iblis, who've been doing the ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 6,000 years, along with the angels, angels had a very good standing with Iblis. They thought that Iblis is very muqaddas. He's just like us. He's very muqaddas. He's been doing the tasbih and he's been doing the ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah, by giving this unusual order, was testing that look, amongst these angels exists one Iblis. I don't know if I'm able to convey my point or not. There is one Iblis amongst these angels. You did not know for 6,000 years. Kana min al-kafirin. He was always a kafir. He was just pretending to be in your saf to go ahead and do my ibadat. I was aware of him. I let him in over here. You were unaware of his reality. He was a kafir from the very beginning. So Rasulullah is basically following the akhlaq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by giving an unusual order to go ahead and ask for pen and paper to write something. There's nothing to write. Rasulullah, by asking this, is showing you amongst the angels a face of a shaitan that you should stay away from and refrain from. Salawat biji Muhammad wa ali Muhammad para. Otherwise, Rasulullah had nothing to write. He had already conveyed everything. If it was the mas'ala of wilayat, no, Rasulullah had already conveyed it. Now, marhum, I have a few minutes in my possession. Marhum Khatib Akbar Mirza Athar, used to say this, and I'm sure many of you may have heard his speeches, that when this ayat, Ya ayyuha Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik was revealed, he said it, that angel Jibreel, who was delivering the ayat of Quran to Rasulullah, kept this ayat from Rasulullah. And he's just jokingly saying this. He didn't mean it. He was just making a point. He said this ayat should have been delivered way earlier. While this ayat, Ya ayyuha Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik fa illam taf'al fama ballaghta risalata wallahu yasimuka min an-nas. He said this ayat is revealed when? At Ghadir Khum. But this ayat should have been revealed way earlier. Jibreel did not deliver it early enough. This ayah should have been revealed when Rasulullah gave Dawat Zul Ashira. Allah should have said, O Rasul, go ahead and invite your family. There might be kuffar in them. Wallahu yasimuka min an-nas. Allah will protect you from the shar of people. When Rasulullah was doing the hijrat, at that time Allah should have said to him, O Rasul, you go ahead and do hijrat. Wallahu yasimuka min an-nas. Allah will protect you from the people. Because there were people who were standing there to go ahead and kill Rasulullah. When Rasulullah was fighting them in Battle of Badr, 313 is standing in front of 1,000. Allah should have said, O Rasul, fight. Wallahu yasimuka min an-nas. Allah will protect you from the people. When Rasulullah was standing in front of Amr ibn Abdul in the Battle of Khandaq, when nobody wanted to face him, Rasulullah should have said, Wallahu yasimuka min an-nas. O Rasul, go fight. Allah will protect you. But Allah did not say in any of those occasions. But He said it right here. What's the difference? The answer could be, and Marhum Nazata used to say, the answer would be that when Dawat Zul Ashira was announced, Allah didn't have to say, Allah will protect you from the shar of the people. No, Ali ibn Abi Talib is there to protect you. When Rasulullah was doing hijrah, Allah did not have to say, Allah will protect you from the shar of people. Ali ibn Abi Talib was there to go ahead and sleep in the bed of Rasulullah. When Battle of Badr took place, Rasulullah did not have to be told, Allah will protect you. Ali ibn Abi Talib was there to protect Rasulullah. When Amr ibn Abdul, the staunch enemy of Islam, was calling upon and ridiculing, mocking Islam, Allah did not have to say, Wallahu yasimuka min an-nas. Ali ibn Abi Talib was there to go ahead and respond to the call of Amr ibn Abdul. Meaning what? In all of those occasions where Rasulullah was surrounded by kuffar and mushrikeen, Rasulullah, Allah did not have to say that Allah will protect you. Why? We have Ali ibn Abi Talib to protect you. But today, the announcement is of the wilayat of Ali. Therefore, it would not look good for Rasulullah to say that Ali will be there to protect you. No, we will protect you from the shar of the people. You go ahead and announce the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wa salam. Salawat biji Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Yeah. So this is the akhlaq of Rasulullah. He says in the last ayat of those 4 ayat that I recited, Inna laka la ajran ghayra mamnoon wa innaka la ala khuluqin azim. Oh Habib, you are at the highest standard of morality. Therefore, brothers and sisters, Rasulullah came to perfect the akhlaq, to raise the bar for us. Meaning what? When we come to Majalis Azhar, we've been listening to this zikr for many years. But these azkar need to travel from our ears to our hearts. We need to make sure that they are able to translate into our character. We don't need to tell that we are Shia and Haidar Karrar. Our kirdar and the character should be self-explanatory. That is why 6th Imam said, Kunu du'atan linnasi bighayri alsinatikum. Guide mankind toward us without using your tongue. Meaning what? Your kirdar should be telling that you're different than others. You're made differently. Your kirdar is different. Why? You're followers of Ahlul Bayt. Imam said, Kunu lana zaynan wa la takunu alayna shaynan. Be a means of honor for us, 6th Imam says. That when someone calls you that you're follower, 6th Imam, be a means of honor for us and not be a means of disgrace and dishonor for us. That should be the kirdar of Shia Haidar Karrar. But again, these majalis should serve the purpose that when we come, people from all walks of life come to this Majlis Azad. Why? Because Hussein joins us all. وہ لوگ جن سے آپ نے بات نہیں کی ہے، وہ لوگ جن سے آپ ناراض ہیں، وہ لوگ جن سے آپ کی بنتی نہیں ہے، یہ فرش عزا جب بچھتا ہے سب اکٹھے ہو جاتے ہیں. وہ ایک قوت ہے، وہ ایک طاقت ہے حسین ابن علی کی، جو عشق ہے، لو ہے، محبت ہے حسین سے، وہ سب کو گھیر لاتا ہے اس فرش عزا پہ. جب آپ حسین کی خاطر اس فرش عزا پہ آ کے بیٹھے گئے ہیں تو اس بندے سے ہاتھ بھی ملا لیجئے، اس کو معاف بھی کر دیجئے، دل سے وہ کدورت نکال دیں تاکہ اللہ کے سامنے سرخرو ہو سکیں. گرج لے کے جانے کی کوئی ضرورت نہیں اس دنیا سے. یہ ہے اخلاق انبیاء، یہ ہے اخلاق ائمہ اطہار. رسول اللہ نے 23 سال پیغام کو پہنچایا، لیکن رسول اللہ نے کسی قسم کا اجر طلب نہیں کیا. انٹل آیت قرآن آئی جس نے کہا قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. اے حبیب ان سے کہہ دیجئے کہ مجھے تم سے کوئی اجر نہیں چاہیے، اور تم اس قابل بھی نہیں ہو کہ کوئی اجر دے سکو. تم میں اتنی ہمت نہیں ہے کہ تم رسول کی اس محنت کا صلہ عطا کر سکو. کر سکتے ہو؟ نہیں کر سکتے. رسول نے جو تمہارے حق میں کیا ہے تم اس قابل نہیں ہو کہ تم اس کو پے بیک کر سکو. رسول نے تم کو انسان بنایا ہے، رسول نے تم کو حیوانیت سے نکال کے انسانیت کی تعلیم دی ہے. تم حق ادا نہیں کر سکتے، لیکن ہاں اگر کچھ کرنا چاہتے ہو نا رسول کے لیے تو ان کے اہل حرم، ان کے اہل بیت، ان کے ذی القربا، ان کی قرابت دار کے ساتھ محبت سے پیش ہو. عجب نہیں ہے کہ رسول نے کوئی مادی چیز طلب نہیں کی. وہ لوگ، وہ قریش کے لوگ جو رسول کے ہاتھ میں سب کچھ رکھنے کو تیار تھے، مال و زر رکھنے کو تیار تھے، حکومت رکھنے کو تیار تھے، رسول جو چاہتے وہ دینے کو تیار تھے. کس خاطر؟ کہ اس دین کی تبلیغ چھوڑ دو. رسول اللہ کا وہ فیمس جواب کہ لو وضعوا الشمس، اگر یہ میرے سیدھے ہاتھ پہ سورج اور بائیں ہاتھ پہ چاند رکھ دیں تب بھی میں اس پیغام کو نہیں چھوڑوں گا. اب اس پیغام کی خاطر رسول خود کچھ مانگ رہے ہیں. کیا چیز مانگ رہے ہیں؟ اجر رسالت مانگ رہے ہیں. کیا اجر رسالت ادا کیا اس امت نے؟ کس طریقے سے 50 سال گزرتے ہیں رسول کی وفات کو، اور وفات رسول بھی کیا ہے. وہ وقت آتا ہے یہ نبی امت جو رحمتاً للعالمین ہے، جس نے اپنی ساری زندگی تبلیغ میں گزار دی، کچھ نہیں مانگا. جب اس نبی کی وفات کا وقت آتا ہے، یہ نبی اپنی آخری سانسیں لے رہا ہے، تو نبی کی کیا حالت ہے؟ نبی کی بیٹی ساتھ ہے. ایک دفعہ نبی کی بیٹی ساتھ ہے، دیکھتی ہے کہ دروازے پہ دستک ہوتی ہے، کہتی ہے اے سائل تو چلا جا، میرے بابا کی طبیعت صحیح نہیں ہے، وہ کسی سے ملاقات نہیں کر سکتے. تھوڑی دیر بعد دوبارہ دستک ہوتی ہے، جناب سیدہ دوبارہ کہتی ہیں میرے بابا اس عالم میں نہیں ہے کہ وہ کسی سے گفتگو کر سکیں، ان کی طبیعت ٹھیک نہیں ہے. اسی اسنا میں رسول اللہ آنکھیں کھولتے ہیں، کہتے ہیں بیٹی میں دیکھ رہا ہوں تمہارے چہرے پہ آثار ہیں غمزدگی کے. کہا بابا کوئی شخص ہے جو بار بار دروازہ کھٹکھٹا رہا ہے، میں کہتی ہوں کہ چلے جا، میرے بابا کی طبیعت ٹھیک نہیں ہے، وہ کسی سے ملاقات کرنے کے قابل نہیں ہے. رسول اللہ نے کہا اے بیٹی اے بیٹی اے بی بی، یہ وہ شخص ہے، یہ وہ شخصیت ہے کہ جس کو کہیں جانے کے لیے اجازت طلب نہیں کرنی پڑتی. یہ ملک الموت ہے، لیکن ہاں تمہارے دروازے کا خیال رکھتے ہوئے یہ شخص آنا چاہتا ہے کہ سیدہ سے اذن دخول لے لے کہ اے بی بی اجازت دیجئے میں آپ کے گھر میں وارد ہو جاؤں، کیونکہ مجھے آپ کے بابا کی روح کو قبض کرنا ہے، ورنہ ملک الموت کو کہیں جانے کے لیے اجازت نہیں چاہیے ہوتی ہے. میں کہوں گا ملک الموت بھی جناب سیدہ کے دروازے پہ دستک دیتا ہے، لیکن رسول کی ادھر آنکھیں بند ہوتی ہیں. اجرکم اللہ، رسول کی در آنکھیں بند ہوتی ہیں، اور یہ وہی در ہے کہ جہاں پہ آگ لگائی جاتی ہے، اس دروازے کو گرایا جاتا ہے، جناب سیدہ در و دیوار کے درمیان پس جاتی ہیں، وہ کیل چبھتی ہے جس کی وجہ سے سیدہ کی پسلیاں چٹک جاتی ہیں. اجرکم اللہ، خدا کسی غم میں نہ رلائے، رسول اللہ کی وفات ہو جاتی ہے، رسول اللہ دار فانی سے کوچ کر جاتے ہیں. اسی حجرے میں جہاں ان کی وفات ہوئی وہیں پہ مومنین نے ایک ایک کر کے ان کے اوپر نماز جنازہ پڑھی. امیر المؤمنین سب سے پہلے تھے جنہوں نے نماز ادا کی. اس کے بعد سے فوج در فوج مومنین آتے تھے, لوگ آتے تھے اور رسول اللہ کے اوپر نماز جنازہ پڑھتے تھے اور چلے جاتے تھے. بس وہ وقت آیا رسول کی تدفین کا. کوئی اصحاب موجود نہیں ہے, علی ہے, کچھ انصار ہیں. انصار نے کہا علی ہمیں واسطہ ہے, تمہیں واسطہ ہے کہ ہم میں سے بھی کسی ایک کو شرف بخشو تاکہ ہم رسول کی تدفین میں داخل ہو سکیں. کہا اوس ابن خولی کو اجازت دی, رسول اللہ کی تدفین کے کام انجام دیے, رسول اللہ کو دفن کر دیا گیا. وہیں اسی حجرے میں رسول کی تدفین ہوئی. رسول کا بھی کوئی جنازہ نہیں اٹھا, ان کا بھی کوئی تابوت برآمد نہیں ہوا. لیکن میں کہوں گا رسول اللہ آپ نے 23 سال مشکلات جھیلی, آپ نے اس امت سے پتھر بھی کھائے, آپ کے لہو لہان بھی ہو گئے. لیکن آئیے کربلا میں دیکھیے جو آپ کے نواسے کے ساتھ اجر رسالت دیا ہے امت نے. 3 دن تک حسین کا لاشا سرزمین کربلا پہ پڑا رہا. صرف یہ نہیں تھا, تدفین تک نہ کی. جب جناب زینب نے کہا فضہ سے جاؤ کہو پسر ساتھ سے ہمارے شہیدوں کو بھی دفنا دو, تو روتی بھی آئے. فضہ کہتی ہے وہ ملعون کہتا ہے ہم صرف مسلمانوں کو دفنائیں گے, یعنی ان کے نزدیک حسین مسلمان نہیں. صرف یہ نہیں کہ دفنایا تک نہیں, سر کو تن سے جدا کیا. ارے یہاں پہ ظلم ختم نہ ہوا, گھوڑوں کی ٹاپوں کے نیچے حسین کے جنازے کو. الا لعنت اللہ القوم الظالمین وسيعلم الذين ظلموا اي منقلب ينقلبون انا لله وانا اليه راجعون. ماتم حسین.
حیدر اٹھا رہے ہیں جنازہ رسول کا, ماتم سرا بنا ہے مدینہ رسول کا. حیدر اٹھا رہے ہیں جنازہ رسول کا. سر کو جھکائے روتی ہے بابا کی سوگوار. سر کو جھکائے روتی ہے بابا کی سوگوار. زہرا کی موت ہو گئی مرنا رسول کا. حیدر لٹا رہے ہیں لحد میں رسول کو. ارے حیدر لٹا رہے ہیں لحد میں رسول کو. سر پیٹتا ہے قبر پہ کنبا رسول کا. حیدر اٹھا رہے ہیں جنازہ رسول کا. یا حسین
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا سب مل کے پڑھیں یا حسین 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 حیا علی خیر العمل حیا علی خیر العمل حیا علی خیر العمل حیا علی